I thought I would show a couple ways to do transitions with track mats. And of course, because I always just keep doing more stuff, I have some other things that I thought I would show. One of them is with the text, and this isn't the best text to use, but I have another one, but I did add it to this piece. So I thought I would show you a couple of ways. Here's one that would be zooming in. Well, first zooming down and then back up. And you can use it in a number of different ways. I used a bounce at the end instead of my usual linear. Then there's also that you can fade in, and I used some filters on that. And then this one was actually the first text I had made, and the text is better because it shows more, but I did add it to the first one. So let me show you some of these, and I can show them kind of all together. They're pretty easy to do. I got the sunset in stock folders. I put in sunset, and if you want to go and grab it, it's one of these in here. Is it that one? No, it's on the water. Oh, it's right here. So you can go grab that if you want. And all you're going to do, it will come in here when you're done. I'm going to drag that to my canvas. It's already full, but if it didn't go to full, sometimes they don't. You can just hit the expand if for any reason. Sometimes when you import things, they don't fill the whole canvas. Just expand it and it does that for it. So what I did with the first one is I just had the bright one fade to the left. And I had just made a quote. You don't have to do that, but I had to think of something to put on that. And then that faded, and then it brought it to the one underneath. I am going to ungroup this, and you can see that I have the video, and I have a mask, which was just a rectangle. And then this is my first quote. And all I did in here is I had taken an image of, is that an image? Or I did do an image a few times. Let me just check. Yes, that was an image that I just took a screenshot of. So let me show you what we're going to do. Here is the video. What I did is I grouped that, then I right-clicked, and I took a snapshot. And you can see another one's going to come in here. It's the same as that one. I'm going to drag that underneath my video, which I am now going to ungroup. You have to group it to make the screenshot. This video is very long, so I am also just going to cut it so I don't have such a long video. Then you can see what I did over here in my first quote is I had my text, I had my screenshot, and I also just made it a little bit darker so that when it transitioned, it would show the contrast. So what do I do with that? I just go over here and I grab a rectangle. See how it's not filling the canvas? I expand it, I turned it black, and then I turned the opacity down a little bit. And let's see how much I want that to be up or down. Then I just took my rounded rectangle and I placed it over the screenshot that I had. So now it's darker. I forgot to expand that back when I was showing you. Okay, now I have my video and it's bright, but what we're going to do is I'm going to go and get another rectangle. I'm going to expand it. I am going to drag it to the length of my video. I'm just going to call this the mask for new video, just so they don't get so confused with all the ones that I've done before. I'm going to click on the video. I'm going to go to Track Mat, and I am going to select Mask for New Video. Now it's masked on this. But what I need to do is I need to animate this because we don't want it there yet. We want it to animate its way in. So I'm going to add a custom animation. I'm going to use linear, position, and scale. I can time this after, but I'm going to just move it here for now. This is where I want it to end. So at the beginning, I want to drag it so it's not visible. Now it will be revealed. Doesn't look, let me see if I make this a little darker. Now what you're going to do is you can go, see this little circle right here? This little circle tells us the track mat is used. So I'm going to click on that, and I can choose Luna and do inverted. I can do alpha and not inverted. So you can change what you want it to look like. And I'm trying to remember what I actually had it as last time. Let's go look. I had alpha and the inverted was off. Alpha and the invert. There we go. So now see how the brighter is being animated in. So that's one way you can just add a mask. So of course here is where I had some text. So we can always just put the text here, and here you can have a poem or inspirational saying, whatever it is that you want it to be. And what I did is had it underneath. I'm moving these down so I can move the text underneath the track mat video. So as this comes across, it's going to get rid of it because the mask is going across. So that is one. Now let me just reduce these a little bit so I don't have to have so much timeline. I'm going to grab the video again. I am going to cut it. And how did I do the text that I did? I just went up here and I got my text, and let's just use sunset. I'm going to make it bigger. And then what I did is I clicked on the video, went down to track mat and sunset. Now this clearly isn't really what we want, although if you want that, you can. Oh, right, I need the image underneath as well, because we need something there. Now let me just show you what I did with the text, because right now you can't see it. So part of it is we need to I think, yeah. I also wanted it to be a little bit shadows. So the way that you would shadow the text is you wouldn't go to the text to shadow it. You actually would shadow the video. So let me show you. I click on that. I go to shadow. And now you can see it's coming up. I need to have something underneath it. So then clicking on the video, and I can move it if I want it to be moved a little bit. I think what I also did is I also just reduced, I clicked on the image I had made and just put the opacity down a little bit. Now with mine, you can see that it animated in, so you can animate your text in as well. So you can just go to motion and let's say in, and we want position from the right. Here it comes. But I also used it by letter, and I'm going to have it reversed because I want the T to come in first and go, there it is. So that is how you can add letters to kind of make it kind of cool. The other one that I kind of like is this one. And again, all I did is I had the main video. Let me move that. Everything's moving up because I've added so much to this timeline. So all I did was I had the video, and now I have a group that I faded in. And in that group was a rounded rectangle, the text, and I changed it with a filter. So I made the filter sepia. I rounded the rectangle a little bit, and then it animated in. So let's do that one. So we're going to go and get our main video, which is nice and bright. Then I'm going to duplicate this. And actually, let me just cut this again because we don't need all of it. So we have our video. I am going to use Command D. However, you also can highlight it and duplicate it. I just moved it up so it wouldn't keep cutting into and creating new lines, new tracks on my timeline. What I'm going to do with this top one is I'm going to go up to Effects and Components, to Filters. I'm going to drag my filter to the first one and change it to sepia. Then what I am going to do is I am going to get a rectangle. I'm going to grab see that little dot right there? I'm going to grab it and just curve the edge of my rectangle a little bit. So right here, it's straight. I can just grab it and make it into a little bit of a curve. I'm going to drag that out to the duration of my video that I changed to sepia. I'm just going to rename this frame just so I can find it in my list. I'm going to select the video I made of sepia. I am going to go down here to track matte and then choose, I called it frame, right? Oh, there it is. I was wondering where that was. So now I have that as my frame. It was showing the video underneath it as well. You can kind of see the frame there. I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to select the video that was the sepia filter. I'm going to go to shadow. I'm going to give it a little bit of a shadow so it stands out. Now I'm pressing F to go back. But you'll see what I did here. Everything, I keep adding new tracks, so this has become a complete disaster of a timeline. Here is my, this is the one we were doing. So in my group for the sepia, I want to show you what's in there. We have the mask video with a rectangle, which is masked, and then the text over it. So I'm going to go over here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on text, but let's just put in, this is where you put your message, whatever we want to do. I'm going to drag that out the length of the other elements as well. And then what I did is I grouped them all. I selected the video that was sepia, the frame that I made, and the text. Command G to group it. Now we see that we have our regular video. Then I just used a motion fade in. And I think I might have had it staggered a little, did I? Well, maybe I didn't. And then the message would just fade in. Now what I'm seeing is I didn't go in and choose the correct track mat. So I'm actually going to ungroup this for a minute so we can see it all together again. I'm going to click on the track mat circle, and I had alpha. Well, that's kind of cool. Not what I wanted, but I clicked on alpha. Now I'm going to group these all together again. I can right click and group or do my command G, go back to motion, fade in. I'm going to drag that out a little bit. And now you can just have that transition in. So those are, I didn't show the circle one, but I know what I did here as well. I just put this opacity down. Maybe I didn't do too, no, maybe I didn't. And all it did is it's showing the sepia one when it comes in. But I don't like this text on there. Clearly we would have to make that look better. And the other one that I did, all I did was, again, I took my video, I got a circle. I'm just going to drag this out the length that I want it. I didn't cut this video, but I can. So let's just cut it and get rid of that piece, drag this to the duration that I want it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the video. I'm going to go to track mat. I didn't rename this, but it should be my last circle. It is. Good. And then what I did is I animated my circle. And all I did for the first one, I don't often use these pre-made actions. Sorry, I stopped to cough. I don't usually use these pre-made ones, but I did use a scale, in scale, and I think I used down. So what happened is it came, let me just move this over so there's a little bit of a break. So it just zoomed down. And then what I did is I did a custom animation of position and scale. And this time I actually used bounce. I used something different. So I had it here for the first keyframe. I go to my last keyframe, and then all I did is blew it up. Let's see how that looks. Maybe it was just in because it wasn't that bouncy. I don't know what that is. All right, maybe it was just out, and if it's not this, I will go and look what I did. There we go. It was just out. And then it just had a little bounce effect. So that's another way that you can just animate some transitions. So maybe more than you wanted, maybe not enough. I don't know. Let me know what you might want to, if I can make another tutorial with something else, I will try to do that for you. And I hope this gave you some ideas. Have fun.